Hello again. What another beautiful day God's given us. And I say it that way because He made all things, including you. And you might be thinking, oh man, he's on the Bible stuff again. Yeah. Like I said before, my engineering background, I like to call it the owner's manual, written by the manufacturer, inspired by, if you want to put it that way. But we're talking today about comparison and facelifts. Why would someone get a facelift? Well, if you think about it, people compare themselves constantly, and it's just a human nature. A lot of times we want things that we don't have. A friend of mine and I were just chatting, and we're going to be having a high school reunion. And we were saying, oh, yeah, I never had any brothers, but you have two. He was referring to me. And I said, well, you have two beautiful sisters, and I only have one. So he's like, oh, but I have you. You're my brother. And I was like, yeah, I'm your brother. And we were just thinking about, how we've grown up all these years, still good friends, keeping in touch. What a gift it is to have good friends. People you can rely on, people you can trust, people with good hearts. But they say when we compare ourselves to others, be careful not to discount and forget what you already have. Each of us was created for a specific purpose. Even if somebody along the line was really dumb and told you, maybe just because they thought you weren't on the way or expected in their own heads, God was expecting you. And someday maybe I'll delve into the scripture of where it says that, but He knew you before you were born. That can't figure out the right spot in the owner's manual where to direct you to that, but so much unhappiness comes from comparison. And people go through the process of literally changing their face medically or, with plastic surgery or something like that. And it's kind of sad in a way because I know people that have gone through this and, they just want to be happy when they look in the mirror. And what that's just what I'm gathering. There's something that they're looking at that they're not pleased with is all I can figure. And maybe I'm wrong because I've never, although some people might think I might need some surgery. Currently, I don't think I need any. But when we compare ourselves to others with what they have, just realize there's a whole set of circumstances that go with that we may not be aware of, that they're also internally unhappy about. Because it's usually on the outside that we see a certain amount, but on the inside, there's so much more to be known about a person. And we have to take the time to listen, like I had mentioned earlier, to hear what's on their heart, to hear what's important to them. And sometimes what's important to them doesn't really matter in the big scheme of things because they're blinded by the lies of this world that say that they're not good enough the way that they are. Now, can people improve? Absolutely. I go to the gym 3 times a day, 3 times a day. Okay, Arnold. Uh, 3 times a week to try to maintain what God's already given me to work with. I mean, I'm a small guy, not very big, but I do with what I can with what I have. But when people get a facelift, it's like our home here. We want things to look better. Is there certain things we can do? Yeah, we can work out. We can get our muscle tone up. What I'm standing in front of here is the front of our home, and this is called Genstone product. Okay, we had vinyl siding, and most of the house still is vinyl siding. If you've done any of that kind of work, it's a craft. It takes some knowledge to get it up right. But now we have this Genstone product, and nobody's paying me, by the way, but I just thought I'd make this comparison. We changed the face of our home. And now when we come, we're like, oh wow, it has a much warmer feeling with the stone brick, and we like it. But that's a house. It's not, it's created in someone else's image, right? You're created in God's image, the way he meant for you to be. And there's a reason that you are the way that you are, because he has an assignment for you and for me. And to just do the best with what we've been given is the gift back to him and to our parents. I think of all that I've done over the last 20 some odd years for my kids, and I just want them to be happy. I want them to have the best life possible. And it pains me to see them unhappy. But I have to remind them also, now that I'm, well, at least more than twice their age, that hopefully I've gained a little bit of wisdom and I can see, I have seen and I have been further down the road than they are, because when I was their age, I didn't realize half of the stuff that I know now because I was too busy comparing myself to all the other kids in the school or whatever it was, or trying to be cool, or trying to walk right, trying to look right, have nice hair, whatever it is. But the easiest way that you can get a facelift is, maybe it's obvious, right? Smile. One of the reasons that I love my wife and I fell in love with her to begin with was that I had heard people use the phrase, well, she's easy on the eyes, right? One of the reasons is she was always smiling. She had reason to smile. And she's a thankful person. She has a thankful heart, maybe is a good way to put that. And my parents raised us to be very thankful for what we had. I can't tell you how many times my father would say to us things like, count your blessings, right? I say it like that because he was kind of stern most of the time, raising three crazy little boys and one spoiled daughter, but we won't mention that. I love my sister is like one of my best friends now. I just like to bust her chops if she ever sees this. He'd say, look at your blessings. Here's 10 of them right here. Count them, right? Because not everybody has them. I mean, we were on a stage where this guy, he has no arms, no legs. And he gave a speech, and it was incredible. At age 19, this person, can't remember his name offhand, was able to retire his parents, I believe, buy them a home. Maybe I don't have the story quite right, but he was enormously blessed because of the fact that he used what he was given. He still had a voice. He could still speak. And his parents trained him up to be tough and to be just like any one of the other kids. And that's all he ever wanted. He said, I just wanted to be like all the other kids. And that's how his parents treated him. You're going to figure out how to get your pants on. You're going to figure out how to do whatever it is that you need to do to be the man that God created you to be. The guy's got no arms and no legs. But his parents were tough. It must have been heart-wrenching to watch their son, very small, struggle. And it's tough for any of our kids to watch them struggle sometimes. But it's those struggles and these things that we feel like we need to change about ourselves that we sometimes need to be convinced out of, because it's not in our best interest to have surgeries that are, in my opinion, unnecessary. You want to change your house from being, look, there's more character, right? More crevices. We all get more crevices as we get older. This is more plain, right? You want to have more character. You want to look a little different. Put some makeup on, do your hair a little different. Try a different style. Maybe new set of clothing. Something that's not permanent, because you're perfect just the way that you are. You need to know that if you've never been told that. And just in case you're at a moment in your life where you need some encouragement, please feel encouraged that you don't need to change much, but the smile on your face. I mean, just like my wife, at our wedding, I had a list of, I think it was at least 50 things that I read off of this scroll of the things that I loved about her. And one of them is that she smiles easily, is how I put it. Be a person that learns, if you haven't already, to smile easily. When you do that, you literally brighten the room. I don't know if it's a reflection off your teeth. Hopefully you're brushing, not too much coffee, tea. But you literally light up the room. You change the presence of a room. When you walk in and you're smiling and you have a good spirit and just joy about you. Those are the people I love to be around. And if you don't like to be like that, good luck. Everything's going to be a little tougher. Sorry. That's just the reality of things. People like to be around fun, happy people that are having a good time. And just in case you're looking to have a good time, start it off this morning by looking at yourself in the mirror and just smiling. Your best smile. I don't have the best smile. I got some gaps and whatever else is going on in there, but I use what I got. That's all I got. So make it a wonderful day. First for you, and then go out and make it a wonderful day for as many other people as you can. And start it all with a very simple facelift.